God will use you as He wishes when He wants something done. The last time, my mother passed away 2.5 years ago. She was almost 97. She was always in my corner. Remember, she won the battle about the high school, and she always was for me and supportive. And my father, he would work with me too, but he was always worried about me, are you going to be able to eat? And see, God provided. So anyhow, my mother, then she started failing. She lived with me the last 2 years of her life, and she passed away on the Feast of St. Therese, October 1st, 2020. Okay. So then a year later, I had the Mass for her here, October 1st, 2021. Okay, and then we went to a little restaurant, a group of us were eating, and the one lady says to me, St. John Fisher, now they've changed. They have never had Stations of the Cross for 55 years. And now they have a different pastor and that. And they want the Stations of the Cross. And so I'm driving down the road, I'm thinking about all this. What am I going to do? They wanted 2-foot Stations of the Cross. And I was viewing it as a lot of work, even though I love doing my work. And all of a sudden, because my mother, she was very short, but she could get into my Yukon and just grab that assist handle and swing herself in and sit in the passenger seat. So I'm driving, and I don't see anybody, but I hear loud and clear, Susie, make the Stations of the Cross for those poor people. And I'm driving, and I grabbed the steering wheel tight, and I said, okay, and I called up the friends I had just been sitting with 10 minutes before, and I said, I'm going to make the Stations of the Cross, no problem. And they remembered that phone call, because I forgot the phone call. They remembered a year later, they were telling me. So that was a Friday. That Monday, I got into our pastor, Father Jim, and I said, don't worry, I'll donate them. We'll make the Stations of the Cross. Now, there were big slots in the walls, and Father Jim said, I'm going to make the wood backings because we have to cover up those holes, those slots. I said, that's right. And then we got our deacon here, one of the deacons, Deacon John Manera, to laser cut the wording. And I said to Father Jim, we have 5 months before the first Friday of Lent. I said, we really should have it done for Lent so we can make the Stations of the Cross, because that's powerful prayer for the souls in purgatory. And so off we went. And I would create, and at morning Mass, the people would say, okay, which one are you on now? And I would show them a picture of what I just finished. So, and then fast forward, we finished, and for that first Friday in Lent this is 23, was that 22? I guess 2022, yes, right. And a big crowd of people came to make the Way of the Cross. It was wonderful. My work is discernible. They can, if you have an image like the 4th station where Jesus meets his mother. And I always try to create it where the Blessed Mother has her hand on Jesus's face, and Jesus has his hand on her shoulder. And there's that interaction between the two, which it's interesting. Psychologically, then that brings the viewer into that setting versus them staring out at you. When you have the two figures working together, then that brings and evokes an emotion from the heart. at St. Michael the Archangel in Aurora, Colorado, I created stations for them. Once again, a woman picked up my brochure at a Catholic conference, showed the priest, they flew me out, and I created. The priest wanted me to come to the dedication. So I went there, I think that was right after John Paul was there. I think this was 1994-ish. So I went and he wanted me to explain things. So I was talking about that, the fourth station there. And when I was finished, the man came to me from who were at Mass afterwards, and he said, "You brought me to tears. That's so beautiful. See, that's what you want. That's the prayer, where people would have their hearts touched and go to God and listen to Him and for their will, for His will in their life."